The man is named Arthur. He is an anti-deer survivalist. Although he has a solid, muscular build, he also loves raising dogs. Arthur brings his dog to the riverbank in the canyon, preparing to build a snow camping shelter. He chooses a safe campsite and begins the construction of the shelter. He first uses a hatchet to chop some wooden stakes, sharpening one end into a point, then drives them into the frozen ground, assembling a basic frame structure to store the prepared building materials. After stacking the materials neatly, Arthur can take a short break. He gathers some dry branches and lights a campfire, huddling together with his dog for warmth. He picks a few small wild berries from nearby branches and shares a simple meal with his dog. Arthur surrounds the campfire with stones to prevent it from being extinguished by moisture. Arthur lays a moisture-proof mat on the icy ground and sits down with his dog. After the water on the fire boils, he brews a cup of hot tea and sits by the warm fire to replenish his vital energy. After drinking his fill, he begins building the shelter again. He uses a shovel to clear an open area as the foundation for the shelter, then places the prepared wooden poles on the base. 4 poles are joined to form a square frame. Grooves are chiseled at each joint, so they lock firmly together, then secured with heavy nails, creating a solid base frame to build the shelter walls. He simply fixes 4 vertical pillars to serve as wall supports. The pillars are connected with 4 horizontal beams, forming a strong unified structure. At the same time, leaves space for a door frame for the roof structure. He once again chooses a gable design. A stable structure makes the shelter stronger. After Arthur's repeated hammering, the frame of the shelter finally takes shape. Arthur collects a large number of straight branches and neatly arranges them along the roof as rafters. The gaps between each roof are kept within 10 centimeters. Once fixed, the excess is sawed off, making the roof look neater. The construction of the other side of the roof follows the same method. The river in the canyon flows gently, while Arthur climbs up and down busily. Soon, all the roof sections are secured. Arthur adds a support frame above the doorway, giving the shelter a unique appearance. Then wraps the frame with wooden sticks. At this point, the overall frame is complete. Arthur goes to the riverbank and fills a bucket with high-quality mud, carrying it back to the shelter for later use. He throws stones into the shelter, placing them along the wall structure, layering mud and stones upward. Stones of different sizes and shapes, under Arthur's skillful hands, are stacked perfectly together, building in the freezing. Though slightly lonely, he has his dog by his side. Arthur feels truly happy. The dog watches him build the wall, eager to lend a paw, but sadly has only 4 paws. In no time, the shelter walls are completed with stone. At the entrance of the shelter, Arthur places a large boulder, then collects more straight wooden sticks to seal the gaps in the roof structure. The sticks are shortened according to the gable shape, little by little. Soon both sides are sealed with wood and stone. Arthur arrives at the riverbed. He uses a bucket to collect some fresh moss. The soft texture can be used to fill the gaps between the wooden sticks, not only blocking the cold wind, but also improving the shelter's appearance. A large waterproof tarp covers the entire roof, while the stone eaves are wrapped with the tarp, finally secured lightly with wooden sticks, ensuring the tarp is firmly attached to the roof. Large pieces are placed on the roof to press the tarp down, making the shelter windproof and waterproof, and also providing insulation. Bright green moss gives the roof a fresh new look. The shelter's overall style is instantly elevated. A heavy snowfall does not disrupt Arthur's construction pace. Inside, he seals the windows with plastic film, solving the shelter's lighting issue. He also installs a fireplace nearby. In the canyon where smoke rises gently, the place suddenly feels lively. Arthur lays flat wooden boards on the ground to pave the floor, filling the gaps between boards with clean sand, giving the floor a unique texture. The entrance is also paved with wooden boards, emphasizing cleanliness and neatness. The stream flows gurgling on. Arthur uses wooden sticks at the entrance to quickly make a wooden door. After the wooden door is installed, the shelter immediately looks more elegant. The solid wood mixed construction technique showcases Arthur's superb craftsmanship, making the wooden bed inside as much simpler. He saws a wooden pole into 4 equal parts and stands them in one corner of the shelter, placing 2 load-bearing beams across, allowing wooden sticks to be laid on top after the solid wood bed is completed. Arthur lays a moisture-proof mat on the bed and lies down to test it briefly. The new bed feels a bit hard, so he spreads his sleeping bag on top. At this point, the shelter is fully completed. Arthur hangs 2 horseshoe lanterns at the entrance, and of course one inside for lighting. Night falls, and the dog returns indoors, cuddling up beside Arthur. They drift peacefully into sleep. In the blink of an eye, morning comes. Arthur wakes up early, steps outside and stretches, washing his face with icy river water. He relights the extinguished fireplace and fetches a kettle of clean river water, placing it on the fireplace to boil. He brews a cup of bitter coffee with boiling water, steps outside while admiring the beautiful snowy scenery and sipping coffee. He notices a bathtub washed in by the water, giving Arthur the idea to take a bath. He carries the bathtub back beside the shelter, perfectly placing it on the previously built base, then fills the bottom with stones, leaving a gap between the stones for fire. In the icy the bathtub looks out of place outside the shelter. It is hard to imagine bathing in such conditions. What that experience would be like. For viewing only, do not attempt to imitate. Arthur fills the bathtub with water and lights a fire beneath it. Before long, the bathtub begins to steam. While waiting for the water to reach a suitable temperature, Arthur washes a stone slab clean, places it on the fire to heat. Drizzling a bit of oil on the red-hot stone slab, he places a fresh steak on top, seasoning it to enhance flavor and remove odor. While waiting for the steak to cook, Arthur soaks in the bathtub for a while. He gets dressed and steps outside. As the snow in the sky falls heavier, the steak on the stone slab is cooked. Arthur cuts it into pieces with a small knife, squatting at the shelter entrance, and enjoys a hearty meal. After eating and drinking his Arthur hangs the horseshoe lantern at the entrance, closes the wooden door of the shelter, and spends a wonderful night inside. The next day he shoulders his backpack, carrying the horseshoe lantern on the long journey home, bringing this pleasant snow camping trip to an end.